Hi everybody, welcome to the Entrepreneur Speaks. These are series of interviews with entrepreneurs about what's happening to them and their business. Now, in this period of COVID-19, we know that a lot of businesses has been disrupted, has been turned upside down. So in today's interview with Adams, we'll find out what is happening to him and his business. Now, before I go into that, did you know that numbers plays a very important part in our lives? You know, your phone number, your house number, and even the amount of money you pay for your vegetables. So today we have Adam, who is running consultancy that helps people to transform their lives by looking at their numbers. We'll get Adam to tell us more about what he do. Morning, Adam.
Hi, morning, Audrey.
Yes. Can you tell us more about what you do?
Sure, thanks for inviting me on your show today. Hi everyone, my name is Adams, and I actually run a consultancy and training company that helps people coach them on how we use the numbers around us. We call 数字, okay, to guide them, okay, in their journey, and as well as help them to transform and break through their life, especially right now in such a tough period.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm just wondering, why this particular so-called fixation, in a way, on the numbers that is surrounding you? You know, for example, like, you know, you talk about handphone numbers, for example.
Yeah.
What was so important about numbers that does for us in our lives?
Okay, this is a very interesting question. Like, you know, I was, honestly, if you ask me 5 years back or 6 years back, this is a topic that I never believed in. Like, I was a skeptic in this area, because this study on 数字, right, is essentially part of metaphysics. And I mean I'm from Singapore, you know, and the education system that Singapore has taught us is always, you know, to be practical, to believe what you see, you know, a very scientific approach. So I was never a believer, but how I chanced upon this was because 5 years back I was actually in debt, heavy debts, about close to 6 digits, about 100,000 Sing, due to a business investment failure. So at the time, because I was so poor and also struggling, you know, sometimes they say like, when you're desperate, you bo pian, you know, desperate, you find all sorts of ways to turn your life around. And that was the time I met 数字. So at the time, I was very fortunate to meet my master, who showed me in a very scientific way how the numbers around us is actually just an energy. You know, it is not the kind of superstition where, you know, like the Chinese always believe that 8 is a good number, and then when you ask them why 8 is a good number, the only reason they can give you is because it sounds nice. You know, like, I think we all have heard it before, because 8 sounds like far, you know, in Chinese, so prosperity, so it must be a good number. But if you look back at it, you realize that it's actually not a very logical explanation. There's no scientific proof to it. It sounds nice. So what my master did was to show me a lot of experiments using numbers, how it actually changes the energy around us. Of course, a very typical one is, you might have seen experiments by Japanese scientist Dr. Masaru Emoto, talking about how, you know, the water molecules change when we write different words, you know, like I love you and I hate you. You must have seen it yourself, because, like, you know, people who are into personal development, spiritual, they will have seen experiments like this. So what they did, you know, they used experiments to, when they write different sets of numbers on different beakers of water, apples, you know, because they have water as well, they see that change in the seed that they wrote. So after I see a lot of this kind of experiment, I realized that, you know, actually it is true. You know, I can see for myself that, you know, the numbers are causing this kind of change. So that's how I started into learning 数字. Essentially, it was actually to save myself from that debt that I was having 5 years back. And then, of course, over the years, I saw it transform my life around. You know, now I was able to get out of that debt and then help my business to scale from Singapore to a regional to regional leader. So because of that transformation I saw, then that's where I started to go more into this area to see whether, you know, there are more practical ways that we can use it. And then, of course, initially I started just by consulting my friends around me. You know, they started asking me like, hey, you learn this 数字 thing, right? Why not you do consultation for me? So I started to do consultation for them, you know, just for like a cup of coffee, they say. And then the more you do, then a lot of them started, you know, you started to get positive response and positive improvement from the advice you gave them. So that's where more and more of them started, why not you come out and teach it? And so that's how I started. So that because of their encouragement, I decided to compile whatever that I learned through the consultations, the cases that I saw, and my own personal experimentation on myself. Then that's how I started my current company, Avant Empower, or we call AEM, and all the way up to all. So that's how I started essentially.
Wow, that's very interesting. That I'm not sure whether most of us know this, but number has energy, like what you said, right? So so I mean, so what can a person do? Like if you are born at a particular day, time, or hour, and then you have this set of numbers that run through, with you throughout your lives, So so I mean, can do you have any advice on that?
Okay, I think this is quite a common question that people ask, like, hey, how come I always see this particular set of number? Like, I'm very fated with, for example, a lot of people say the 1111, right? Every time you see your clock, you have the 111. So a lot of people ask me, hey, what does it mean? Like, let's say if I'm born on what date, okay, does it affect my life? Definitely, it does have a certain meaning or message to it. Like, if we see certain repeated numbers over and over again in our life. Actually, all these are messages to tell us about our current situation. Okay, but of course, once you understand this language, you know what is the message they are trying to tell you. So, of course, from my point of view, I look at these messages as reminders. Like example, if I were to keep repeatedly seeing numbers that are warning me of a potential, let's say example like wealth loss. So I know that. I know that it is a message to me to tell me either to control my spending, okay, or I might be exposed to a certain investment project in the next few days, okay, that might not turn out very well. So if you understand this language, you are actually able to preempt yourself in what kind of decisions to make and what not to do. So this is one thing. So of course you talk about, let's say like birthday, let's say you're born, a lot of people might know 八字, your date of birth, your year of birth, and your time of birth. So all these, I mean, there is that traditional school of thought where your life is determined by your 八字, your destiny is fixed. The moment you are born, that's it, you can't change it. So even though it is true that your 八字, or let's say even like for our school of thought, our 八字equivalent is actually our IC number, which I like to call it our blueprint. So even though that cannot be changed, but essentially you can change your destiny by the interpretation you have about your IC or your 八字. You can choose to say that your life is fixed, or you can choose to say that, okay, these are the set circumstances or opportunities and potential pitfalls that might happen in my life. So what I'm going to do about it, okay, is honestly controlled by ourselves. Like I believe in this statement, which is life is 99%, not 1% your circumstances and 99% your choices. So that your partner and your IC is actually just at 1%. If, like for example, some people might say, hey, how come I'm born in a poorer family? I'm not born in a silver spoon. That doesn't mean that you have to live your whole life poor. You can still, there are still things that you can do to and to live your greatest potential, because everyone has that greatest potential. And over the years, I saw it. People who used to be not doing well, after understanding their potential, they take that reciprocate, they take that required action. They still see that kind of growth. So to me, I believe that even though our 八字 and our like IC is a fixed, you can say, circumstances that's given to us, the result might not necessarily need to be that way. We can change it. Then that really depends on our attitude towards our life. So that is my belief. That's my approach to when I do consultancy, when I do coaching for my students and my clients. Yeah.
I agree with you that, that is great. I agree with you that I think life can be changed, because some of us have so much experience, so much experiences. We kind of know our strengths and weaknesses, so sometimes it's just a willingness to change the direction, right? If things are not doing well, then it's time to stop, think about it, take stock. So yeah, with what you have offered, is like, I guess there is hope, that you can actually transform your life, and you never need to be stuck, from beginning to end.
I can actually share my own story, like if you don't mind. So like why I chanced upon, like I mentioned 5 years ago, I chanced upon this because I was struggling at the time. So at the time, that was 2014 when I went into that. I mean that I met a scam. Like, it's essentially a scam actually. So I lost close to about 100,000. Yeah. So at the time from 14 to 16, right, that 3 years, I was struggling a lot. You know, I was going into different kinds of business opportunities, sales careers, and all this, trying to find a breakthrough. But I was struggling no matter what. So like I was that typical. You know, I work very hard. You know, I compared to my sales colleagues, I have 3 times more appointments than them every month. Okay, but my sales was 1/3 of theirs. So I always ask myself, I always have the mentality, I was honestly a bit jealous, like how come they don't need to work so hard and then they get the kind of result, they make the kind of money, but then I chose so much, but then I don't get result. And that was not just happening once, but in all the different platforms that I was in. So I was like figuring, hey, what's wrong, like does it mean that 我注定, in Chinese, 注定就是赚不到钱的, you're destined to not be able to make money. So, but of course, I'm someone that I don't give in to fate so easily. Like, you can say a bit, some people will say that you 不认命 lah, you stubborn. But I chose to believe that, I'm going to be successful, just that, now there must be something that I'm not doing right. So when I learned 数字, I realized that, in my IC, a lot of traditional 数字 practitioners will look at my IC and say that I have a wealth loss 命, in Chinese called 破财命, because my whole IC has that wealth loss energy. We call 绝命, in our terms. So life threatening. So most people, when they look at this kind of IC, they will just give up and say, jialat lah. Then I mean, why work so hard, when I'm supposed to lose some money? But I studied it further and I realized that, there's that duality in all the energies that we have. And I saw one of the things that I could do was, instead of focusing my business, my efforts in expanding the local market, my greater potential was actually overseas. Like I had better affinity with foreign customers and overseas markets. So that's why I started to shift my strategy. Even though I wasn't stable in Singapore, I decided to go overseas. I started to use Facebook to connect with my overseas friends, to tell them, hey, introduce me some clients that I want to go over there and start to do training. I was helping a training company to run sales at the time. So all my colleagues thought that I was crazy, I couldn't even do Singapore properly and I wanted to go overseas. Because most people say, you Singapore, you need to stable first, then you go overseas. But I believe in my blueprint. I believe that, they are telling me that, my IC is telling me that I'm suited to go overseas. So let's do it. So I started to find a lot of seats overseas, and surprisingly, the response was much greater than in Singapore. And in almost just 1 year, I was going to Malaysia, Indonesia and Philippines, all this. And 1.5 years later, I was invited by the Nigerian SME Development Agency, which is a government level organization. I was invited by the Nigerian government over to Nigeria. It was almost 18 hours flight, all the way there to do training for their SME owners. Like we did an event. It was Christmas at the time, I remember, 2018 Christmas. And in Nigeria, they have 2 biggest holidays. One is Hari Raya, one is Christmas. So normally they say in Christmas, no one will attend any events, because they are all busy going back to hometown and all. But when I went there, we still managed to have like 100+ entrepreneurs over there that attended my workshop. And it was my first time experiencing 100% closing rate, right? After the workshop, everyone chonged to the front to sign up for your program that you have. So that was the kind of change I saw when you don't give in to it, you take control of the what is laid out to you. The 99%. And I saw that change. And because of that, that's why now I strongly believe that there is no such thing as a bad life, like bad IC. You'll only be bad if you don't take any action on it. So that's my belief.
Good. Very proactive about life, right? And not to be so-called resigned to faith in a way. Okay, cool. So now I think, Adam, what could you tell our viewers here? Because in this period of COVID-19, I think a lot of people could be going through some kind of transition. You may have a job. Now you could be jobless, or your job could be, not too certain, or you could be making tons of money in your business, and then suddenly now, demand has dropped. So is there any advice would you give to people like that? Because if they are going through this anxious stage of their lives, it's not so good, right? You can become so so-called frozen and
some people even get to depression, right?
Yes. What would you have? What advice would you have? Yes.
Okay, I think this is a good question, and in fact, I feel that this COVID-19 situation, I see it as a positive thing, because because like some people might feel that change is negative, you know, like I used to have a job, you know, now I don't have, or my business used to be doing well, now I don't have. But in fact, if let's say your business was doing well before COVID, and then now because of COVID, you know, you start to struggle, it's actually just bringing out the weaknesses in your business that you already have. You know, like I see it that way. So like for example, before the circuit breaker or MCO in Malaysia, because I was actually more in Malaysia before that. I was traveling around Malaysia to give workshops, to do previews, and to conduct my courses. So I was a very offline person, and I'm still a very offline person. Like I prefer face-to-face interaction, you know, and all this. So prior to the COVID, I actually had thoughts of starting to transit my business online, you know, starting to do online programs or more exposed in social media. But I always had that thought that, you know, since we are still doing very well in the offline, you know, so maybe I put that to a later stage. But because of the COVID, right, it forces you to bring your plans ahead, forces you to make the kind of change. So I honestly see it as I see this change as, you can say, a kick in your butt, you know, to say that it's time for you to change, it's time for you to do something. So yeah, I believe in that a lot. So of course, I in this period, we actually transited our business online. We started to do online webinars. We started to expose ourselves more, you know, Facebook Live. It was something I was contemplating so long until the circuit breaker, you know, so it made me, but so I feel that these are the positive changes it can give you. So same thing, it goes back to the 99% choice, 1% chance, what you want to do about all this change. So to a lot of people that right now are struggling or are lost, are starting to feel anxious, I feel that this anxiety doesn't come from the crisis. The crisis was just a catalyst. The anxiety honestly comes from a lack of direction, lack of solution. Because 5 years ago I was like that, you know, while I was still desperately looking for a solution to change my life. So what I can give to advice to everyone, which I did for myself back then, was to have clarity in your own path. So one way that we can do it with what we do is, like I mentioned just now, through our blueprint. Because our blueprint, let's say you have no direction now, you have no idea what to do, I encourage you to learn a skill in this period, which is one way which I do is to understand your blueprint. Because in your blueprint lies a lot of secrets that tell us our greatest potential, you know, our best career model, career path, and what is our best way to make money. And let's say, like, you know, sometimes we can do 5 different things, but how come one makes more money easier than the other 4? So all this is actually stated in our blueprint. So study, so understand your blueprint, have that direction, and once you realize, hey, no, actually there are some things that I do that can help me to make money easier. Then that gives you even if you are not immediately confirm that you're going to do this long term, right? But at least it starts to give you a direction. It starts to give you a solution. And with this clarity solution, it actually gives you strength. I believe a lot in this statement, which is clarity gives you strength. So if you have the direction, at least you won't be totally lost. Okay, and you can start working on that. Whether or not it turns out, you know, to have that highest ROI for you, that is up to you to explore, because everyone have not just one path, you know, you can have 2 to 3 or 3 to 4 directions that you can go. So out of these 3 to 4, which one suits you most, right? That is up to your own exploration to see which one you like best and which one you can do the best for you lah. But I would encourage everyone to take the time to, I mean, since now we have to, in a sense, in a period of rest, why not use it productively to learn something about yourself? Okay, learn what the universe has given to you, the potential that it was given to you, and work on it. It will give you more clarity. And then from there, a lot of people will, I mean, a common thing that people will ask in this period is, what is a lucky number I can use to you know, boost my energy, to become luckier? But I will tell them that, you know, even if I give you this good luck now, if you have no idea how to use it, no idea where to use it on, it's no use. You know, so it must start with a direction, a goal first, a clarity, before you use the energy that we have to align yourself to a goal to help you achieve your goals. So, because same thing like feng shui. A good feng shui is only useful if you have goals. If you got no goals, right, a good feng shui is just useless. You know, same idea. So, yeah. So the first thing I'll encourage is to have clarity in your direction by studying your blueprint, and then the second one is then to adjust your energy to align with the direction that you want to go in. So with that, then you can start to work on the change that you want to have and find a better way to scale a business or even to move to the next career that might actually do better for you than your previous one. Sometimes this change is to force you to go even better, you know, it's to force you to go even better. Yeah, that's what I believe in. Because now after the MCO period, in fact, through online, we are able to, at one moment of time, reach out to different countries at one go, which previously when I was doing offline, we can't do that. So in fact, now the number of people that attend my previews every week is actually double than what I was experiencing when I was offline. Yeah, initially, like 30, 40 flags per session, but I do it weekly in different cities. But now I can do one time 100 plus people, 200 plus people at one time. So I feel it is a good thing if you can change in time. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I guess, Adam, you leave us with a very good message that change can be good. Right. And sometimes we have to embrace that and just move on. Whichever path that we take, sometimes life is also an experiment, right? It's like, don't be too fixated, right? Like what you're trying to say that. And of course, having said that, it's really good to use this period to discover more about yourself. Because some of us, we could have lived a long time in a way, but do we really know what we want? What is the why in your life? What is the value that you bring to this world, right? So yes, I think we get our viewers all to look at our Facebook, and I think everybody, we will stay tuned. We will have more conversation with Adam, and hopefully that you can find something in this period to actually transform your life, and don't be afraid of change. Yeah, that's our message. Right. So thank you, Adam, for being on the show today and giving us
thank you for inviting me.
Yes, thank you for such a valuable advice, So everybody, thank you for your time. Just follow us on Facebook and we will keep in contact. Right. So everybody stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you, Adam. Right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.